We were talking there about your role in the Isle of Man. Have you ever been compromised about having to take sides, between an Isle of Man point and the UK? I'm thinking about the goings on with reciprocal health agreements, those sort of things. But have you ever been put in a funny position?
Well, no, because I don't represent the UK here. I don't take a side. If I'm on anyone's side, it's the Isle of Man's side. My oath of office required me to promote the interests of the Isle of Man's people on behalf of the Lord of Man, who is the Queen. So my default position is to be on the side of the Isle of Man, if sides are to be taken. And I have no direct relationship with anybody in the UK government whatsoever. I'm not accountable to anybody in the UK other than to the Queen. So I have no routine communication down there.
I'm thinking you could open doors, though. You'd have contacts.
I was going to say, if I am able in any way to help the Isle of Man's cause, then if invited to do so by the Chief Minister, I will pick up the phone and put my shoulder to the wheel. But that's only done at the invitation of the Chief Minister. And it is always on behalf of the Isle of Man. I'm not here to argue the UK's case. The UK is capable of doing that.
The reciprocal health agreement, did you ever get involved in that one, Dan?
I got involved in a very small way in really trying to persuade people across that they should take another look at the problem.
That's diplomatic talking for banging some heads together, I think, isn't it?
Well, we made a couple of phone calls, yes. Wrote a couple of letters.
No doubt that'll all come out in your memoirs at some point in the future. Have you got any particular things that stand out? Highs, first of all, lows after that? Things that just remember.
The highs when you're the Queen's representative are always perhaps when she or her members of her family come to visit, and that's always been quite special. And we've had 3 royal visits in my time. And they're always interesting because we tend to have to host a lot of it here at Government House and put the people up and that sort of thing, which is always interesting. So those are highs. But what I've found is that the Isle of Man, it's a beautiful place, but the most attractive and interesting thing about the Isle of Man actually is the people and the community here. And I never tire of saying what an extraordinary community this is. And I think you only find the strength of community spirit that is here in an island which is geographically limited, and people have to look a little bit inwards to themselves and take care of their neighbour, which they do here in a most remarkable way.
I'm going to push on the lows, because there must be something you've found unusual, strange, upsetting in your time here?
Well, the shopping in Strand Street is not great, but
yeah.
No, there aren't really lows. I think this is a brilliant place, and I think that successive governments have been incredibly wise here, in investing in non-sexy, non-vote getting, but essential state-of-the-art infrastructure. And when you look around at, you've got 21st century power generation, sewage, hospitals, prisons, all these kinds of things, which everyone a little bit takes for granted. But it's pretty special that they're here in the Isle of Man, because not all the Crown dependencies are blessed in the same way as the Isle of Man has been. And I think that the government, with a small g, has also been very, very responsible in their whole approach to the Isle of Man's economy, that they have made very successful attempts to diversify, and the diversification, together with the law that the Isle of Man cannot have a budget, a government budget, that is that takes the island into debt, that the budget must always be in surplus or neutral. This left the island in a very strong position through the difficult 2 or 3 years we've been going through. And if you look at the figures, the Isle of Man's growth dropped, but it remained positive. Unemployment went up a nudge, but not a great deal. house prices levelled off but didn't drop. The Isle of Man has come through this extremely well, and that's because of the strong position that it's been put in through its laws and the way the governments over the last 2 or 3 decades have diversified the economy.